Mike Putnam, you're Chief Executive of Skanska UK and Co-Chair of the Green Construction Board. Thanks for joining us. Low carbon construction, low carbon infrastructure. The priority, as far as I can see, is to make a really strong link between why it's good for the economy, good for the environment, but also critically why it's good for business. Are we making that link?
Well, through the review, we've absolutely made the link, because I think the main headline is that
This is the infrastructure carbon review.
Infrastructure carbon review, where when you focus on carbon reduction as one of the key parameters, one of the benefits you get with it is lower cost, and that's one of the reasons why Treasury adopted this piece of work, and they helped us to launch it, and of course it plays very nicely on top of the whole cost review piece that was done 2 or 3 years back. So I think what we've been able to demonstrate is that there is a real cost benefit, a real business benefit to the whole approach.
And do you think that the industry is getting that now?
Well, when we launched it, which was back in November of last year, we had 20 bodies, a mixture of clients, tier one contractors, and actually some from the consultants and from the supply chain that very much endorsed it. Many of them were actually part of the work that was done on this. What the plan now going forwards, and the ambition is to widen that scope. So I would say that there's a good number that do get it, but we need to help others to understand the opportunity, get behind it, and start to make it happen within their own organisations.
So the priority for the Green Construction Board is to get people to sign up, find out about the infrastructure carbon review, sign up for it, get involved with it.
Sign up for it, and actually we're through the infrastructure working group that we have, we've got some very senior people that are very engaged in this agenda, and they're available to help people to understand it and pick it up.
Because it does require a commitment, it does require a resource, it does require, you have to do something to demonstrate what you're doing. And I suppose as the market picks up, do you think that kind of, the whole sustainability agenda, do you think it's still top of mind for people as they struggle for resource, they struggle to meet clients' needs?
My own view is that as we went through the recession, there was no doubt that the whole agenda did slip, because other things understandably came to the fore and were of a higher priority. But I absolutely firmly believe that a number of us have kept it as sort of top 5 in recent years, and I absolutely believe that as the economy picks up, so the focus will get back up to being probably a top three issue. And I'll just take you to task on, you said about requires a lot of resource to get this. I don't think it does. I think providing you have bold leadership, you engage with everybody involved, but you do so early, then I think you can achieve huge things without having to apply greater maybe people.
But it's a perception of the resource that's required, perhaps.
I think there is. But I also know within our own business, where we do our own developments, for example, we can achieve something like a 50% reduction in energy use simply by being very clear on our deliverables from the outset. Okay. And the premium and so this tends to be in a building environment, the premium that's associated with that is actually quite small, and absolutely links to a proper business case.
Okay, government's clearly still very supportive, although there was some discussion in the conference earlier on whether or not, with the election coming up, whether the future government or the government will continue to be so supportive. It's given you another 2 years on the Green Construction Board. What have you achieved? What do you want to try and achieve in the next 2 years?
Yeah. So on the back of the Construction 2025 industrial strategy, the Green Construction Board is tasked with developing and delivering against the 50% reduction in greenhouse gas target that we have to 2025, and that's based on the 1990 levels. So that really is the primary focus, and we're just working out exactly where we focus our efforts, because one of the things, of course, that this agenda is absolutely huge. So looking at a sort of perhaps a smaller time horizon to help get us towards the 2025.
It's a step on the way to the
Exactly.
2050.
Exactly. So we're actually talking right now about, okay, so where do we provide that focus?
And we're on schedule for 2025. We're on schedule for 2050. Is that an 80% reduction by 2050?
Yeah. No, we're not on schedule when you look at the totality of the built environment. But there are many organisations, client bodies and other stakeholders that are already achieving 50% reduction. So I remember when, as part of the leadership group, when we were talking about just where should this target be set, there were a number of organisations that said, actually, we don't think 50% is stretching enough because we're already achieving that today. So what I think we have to do is to help others to understand what's possible and help get them up to that 50%, and then we can get some very good traction, some very good momentum.
And of course, incentivising the whole supply chain, making sure that the whole supply chain understands that there is an opportunity to think differently, an opportunity to be innovative. That's key to it.
Yeah.
I mean, are we making that message clear?
Well, one of the key outputs of the infrastructure carbon review is exactly about involving the whole supply chain, because whilst having bold leadership from a client perspective is very important, it's also equally important to have engagement and involvement right the way down through that supply chain. There's some very good work done with the supply chain school, for example, across the group of contractors, including our own company, where we've provided a platform to help encourage the supply chain to use this and help them to understand where they need to focus in order to help project their businesses forward.
And of course, getting the supply chain involved in the infrastructure carbon review is critical as well, I imagine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I say it's a key part of the output of that review.
Finally, you work for, obviously, you're running Skanska UK, very, very in touch with your Scandinavian parent.
Yeah.
I mean, from your position there, I mean, how are we doing in the UK? Are we ahead of the game? Are we a long way behind? Where do you see that?
Well, in comparison with Scandinavia, there's no doubt that they're a long way ahead when it comes to mindset. It's part of their DNA. They naturally think sustainability in pretty much everything that they do. So the UK is behind that from a mindset perspective. But when you look at what's going on globally in all the different markets, certainly that we operate, then actually the UK is doing some very good stuff, and in many regards we are ahead compared to some of these markets. I think the key is to keep the focus and to keep us ahead, because I think there's a fantastic opportunity for the UK in terms of providing a showcase and then providing opportunities beyond our UK shores for exports globally.
Okay, so yeah, that is the message. There is an opportunity to take, and acting now is critical.
I mean, I think there's no substitute for leadership and action. There's no point sitting back and waiting because you missed the opportunity.
Mike Putnam, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.